What's up? This is Editing Carlos. I'm currently editing this episode of Midwest Midcard that you are about to watch. Unfortunately, the video was just fucked up, man. The the audio and the video wouldn't sync up, so you don't get to see my boy, Big Meer's beautiful face throughout the video. Um, well, I mean, you see his face, you just don't see it moving. So if you're a video watcher, I'm sorry about this week. Next week we'll be back with the normal stuff. But without further ado, please enjoy this very special episode of Midwest Midcard. I don't even do preparation.
Nah,
Like before you know it,
me neither.
I'll be introducing the show. I'll be like, welcome back to episode 68 of Midwest Midcard. This is Carlos, and I'm here with a very special guest.
The big mirror. I'm here.
TheBigMeer. That's what you're going with today.
Whatever you want to call me, the big mirror, Mearsley, Mearski, Carl Anthony Towns, whatever I am. Today, I'm here. Thanks
You're
for
having
having
a
me.
big you're having a big I guess month.
It's the conference finals, man. It's the conference finals.
I know.
They didn't get swept, which I'm kind of surprised, but I'm a little afraid right now because I feel like I'm on the verge of becoming a real meme because homeboy actually do look like me, which is kind of scary. Yeah. I used to work at the hat store Lids back in the day, and we had a Carl Anthony Towns poster for like a month or so promoting whatever apparel, and people were like, dude, is that you? That look just like non-sports fans would be like, dude, is that you? That really look like you? Dude, you need to hit him up. I might be related for real. It's been madness ever since he got drafted for me. I get called Carl Anthony Towns twice a day by strangers outside. It's a good time though. It's funny.
Yeah, you need to talk to your mom. That's what you need to talk to. What the fuck is going on here?
Yeah, I might need to make a phone call. What were you doing in '95?
How old is Kat? Is he? He's in his 30s now, right?
No, I'm 27, so he might be 29, maybe 30.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think he's 30.
I forget that basketball players only play to 31, and then they're like, all right, it's time to hang it up.
Yeah, they gotta, they usually are retired by 32, 33, yeah. So, yeah, but he ain't 30. He couldn't be 30 yet.
Maybe not. Well, before we proceed with this Carl Anthony Towns talk, if this is your first time listening, make sure you leave a like, subscribe, leave a comment on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Make sure that you also just leave a nice review, 5 stars if you like the show, and if you don't like it, then just leave a review regardless, I guess. But 5 stars helps. So let's see how we talked about this a little bit before we kind of got started, but how in tune with wrestling are you right now?
So I am a lifelong, I'd like to say hardcore wrestling fan, but I am also an adult with bills. So I keep up with it as much as I possibly can. I'm usually off Mondays and Wednesdays, but Raw is really, really long, people, and it's hard for me to get through the whole thing. I can usually, if I'm bored enough, I'll watch AEW, and I can usually get through it because it's only 2 hours, depending on what's going on. And depending on what else is going on, the basketball, playoffs is going on right now, so that's kind of getting a lot of my attention. But, I know what's going on. Even though I may not have seen every single segment, I'm aware of what's happening.
That's the good thing about the bad and the good thing about Raw being 3 hours is just insane.
Can you believe
it's been 3 hours forever?
Yeah, we going on 3 hours now. Ooh, for 12 years, right? 2012, I think, is when they made that jump. It's been 12 years of 3 hour Raws. When is the last
Yeah,
time you really sat down and like watched a Raw, like 3 hours, 2 weeks in a row? Not just one. Sometimes we can get through them, but 2 weeks in a row. When's the last time you actually sat through a whole Raw?
it has to be like a crazy episode that is like that just like keeps going. I don't know if I can do the Netflix shows, man, without ads.
Yeah.
I need a break.
Well, hopefully Netflix Raw is a lot more like entertaining. Hopefully they let they loosen up the leash on Netflix a little bit and it get a little weird.
Yeah, I'm down for like I'm not even like, oh, I need to like be bloody and like have like fucking, like live sex celebrations. I just want to do like just do like, kind of just loose. And I like sometimes some episodes Triple H will like throw in like those like connected segments, and like that's the kind of shit that like keeps you engaged, so you're not just like, all right, here's this segment, here's this other segment, here's this other segment. It's like that's just so ass. And kind of jumping, and I'll give you a good example because this never happens, but I went to GCW this past Sunday. It was a pretty good drive to Columbus because I'm closer to the Cincinnati side, so it was like hour and a half. So I drove up there, and it was started at 5, ended at 8. Very nice because it's Sunday, I can just get home at a decent time.
Right.
But the last two matches kind of like were like connected, and even before then, like the third match into the card also kind of had like something to do with the ending in a way.
Right.
Which was cool because that, first of all, this is a GCW show. They don't have like a roster. They just do like, whoever's booked for the show. So the fact that they're trying to keep like a narrative was cool because it also made me want to like see. They're gonna do Mans Warner versus Effie at this. I don't know where the show is, but I think it's next Saturday. Well, this coming Saturday. And that actually made me want to like get on like Triller TV and like get the subscription and watch it.
Right.
Because they kind of connected everything and they made it like worth my time, And I had a lot of fun. That's probably the best wrestling show I've ever been to, like
Really?
bar none probably.
I'm assuming
I went to SummerSlam, so
was it a lot of blood?
So Ohio is a no blood state.
Really?
Yeah. So, which is it's so funny because every other state in the Midwest is like where they do like every death match. So it's just funny.
So they just really went out there and put on a good wrestling show.
They have to. They do like a few hardcore spots, but yeah. So, but I will say in the main event, Alec Price did. I saw him blade, and he did get blood, so they probably had to pay a fine, or maybe they just swept it under the rug. But I saw him, and I had a friend with me that's not a wrestling fan, and I saw him. He got hit with a screwdriver on the forehead, like right in the middle. I saw him lay down. He was like reaching into his wrist tape, and I was like, "Here it goes."
Man.
And I saw him. That old CM Punk spot.
The old, gigging himself. As we mature and learn, and we know, like you kind of find out how gross blood can be. Now I look back at a lot of stuff I thought was like the coolest shit ever when I was a kid, and I'm like, man, this is rough. Like, this is rough stuff.
I know, yeah.
I felt like I had way more balls when I was like 6, and I was watching this, and I was like, yeah, this is a great match. Like, now I'm like, oh
the
man,
tolerance,
like,
man.
this is crazy.
Yeah, like it kind of like sometimes like even like watching back just very recently the dog collar match, Punk and MJF.
Yeah.
I mean, like, Punk is, like, gushing everywhere. And I'm just like, that can't be safe, man.
Yeah, when it comes to, like, concussions and just the long-term damage. And I think because, like, as time moves on, we actually in real time see the after effects of, like, what all those spots did to all those guys. You know what I mean? Like Look at Dusty Rhodes' forehead towards the end. You
Oh my
know,
gosh.
look at New Jack, like, you know, and all these other guys who did all that kind of stuff, and like they all pass away in like they 50s or less, usually less.
Yeah.
So nowadays I'm like, man, like it's cool every once in a while, but when you're doing it all the time, it's like, all right, there's a little bit of concern. Like I'm concerned for like a Dean Ambrose or John Moxley, like because
He's actually toned it down a lot.
yeah, he toned it down, but I'm guessing somebody had to have a conversation with him because for a while, it was like every week on like regular ass TV against like the local job guy from like Peoria, like he was bleeding, so stuff like that. Where it's like, all right, man, it's cool. Like if you doing it like twice a year, 3 times a year, even, but like. Now Swerve is like the blood guy now. If you notice on AEW, like he bleeds a lot now.
Yeah, he's been bleeding. I don't know, man. I feel like, and like it doesn't even like, it's just like second nature at that point, and the intensity of the blood just kind of goes away because it's like, what are we doing here?
Exactly. Where were we though? Yeah, GCW. That's why.
That's why the Cody spot was so like. It was so shocking.
It was awesome, man. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, as long as they use it like very seldom. Somebody else played recently? Am I in WWE?
Kevin Owens.
Yeah, but that was like hard way, right?
It looked like it. Yeah.
I don't know.
So.
That was
think so.
Payback.
So I guess he didn't blade, but yeah, he bled though.
I mean, it counts.
Yeah.
The thing is that like if it is hard way, letting it happen, you know, it just makes more sense. And I don't even mind like them eventually getting to it and like clearing, you know, getting the blood. But what I hated is when they like right away they're like bleeding and they're like running over with like the towel. They stop the match, and I'm just like, come on, like this.
Have they done that recently? I thought they stopped doing that.
No. Well. Finn Balor and Edge.
Yeah, okay, yeah, you're right.
But he was fucked up.
But he was he was
fine.
actually hurt. I think oh god, who was at that show? Was that 2 years ago now? That was at 39, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was a year ago.
Our friend Chase Oliver was at that show, and I asked him about that in specific. I was like, yo, what happened? Because you saw Edge was just kind of walking around, just like picking up weapons and putting them down for a little while. It was very awkward. And they were like, he was just like, they were just like trying to take care of Finn, and they kind of, I guess, did whatever they do. And he got back in it, and they went home like real quick. So yeah, I guess if they deem it serious enough, they'll intervene.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean that one is. I mean, once I saw him, like he got fucked up. So, you know, they can have that one.
Yeah.
It's essentially. Yeah, I'm okay with that. I mean, that was pretty dangerous. So.
Yeah.
But let me get back to the you know the other stuff. I wanted to see, so I think the big story right now, I would say, there's a couple stories, but other than NXT last night, or well, this comes out on Thursday, but on Tuesday, we had Liv Morgan, our new world champion, not only won at King and Queen of the Ring. Did you like that match?
It was cool. For what you know what, I really do not like Becky Lynch. I've never been a Becky Lynch fan. If Becky Lynch is losing, I'm with it every time. And I actually like Liv Morgan. And already the quality of her work is hidden from me. But go ahead we'll get into it, but go ahead.
No, listen, I fuck with Becky Lynch, so
yeah,
this is not a safe place.
I can't take it. I can't like.
No, I like Liv a lot actually, and I think she has like improved her like overall body of work.
Yeah.
She's come a long way. I'll say that. This time it felt like there was no other reason, like no other like option. She had to win the title.
Right.
this was like a must win for Liv. So I'm glad that she did actually get the win. They had the steel cage rematch. This match, I mean, I think the King and Queen of the Ring match was much better because the steel cage match, I kind of hate it honestly, and I'm surprised because Becky had a really good steel cage match versus Trish Stratus not that long ago.
Yeah, that was actually
So
they actually did a good job with that. The thing with
yeah,
Becky, and I want you, and maybe you'll notice what I notice about Becky in her matches at least. This is beside her promos, which I think are also pretty bad. The thing with Becky is almost too safe. You know how they go out there and, all the OGs, they'll tell the young guys, take it easy. You got their money already. It's no need for you to go that extra mile. Like, okay, well, Becky Lynch is almost too safe in that I can visibly see her thinking about what she's going to do next in the ring. If you notice when she wrestles with not safe, but hesitant. Whether it be it hit the ropes, you notice she never go to the top rope. It's always the bottom or the second rope. Her punches are really bad, and you could see that she's clearly missing people. The Uranagi or the rock bottom that she does is real. Like, she is very hesitant. Like, I can see her being like a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a like.
you know what? I get that because you know who used to do that like all the time?
Who?
John Cena.
Yeah,
John Cena.
especially in the beginning. He got a little better towards the end, but like 03 through like probably like 05, 06. Yeah.
I remember like and this is even like I think once it got really comfortable, it probably got worse. And I think that's why people started to like notice because there's like a obviously he comes in, he's like vanilla, and then he's like he does the rapper gimmick, he gets a little more comfortable with like in his own skin. I think the quality of his matches really improve probably JBL, I want to say. Um he started
2005.
having he started to like have matches like he did the I Quit match. He had the Umaga match, which is also pretty good. A couple of the Edge matches. I like the SummerSlam match, but obviously the TLC one is the one that people normally talk about.
I
Unforgiven.
forgot they wrestled at SummerSlam. Yeah.
Yeah, the SummerSlam one is Edge beat him. That's why.
Yeah.
I think that's when he won the title, right? And he turned it rated R. I'm pretty sure.
What? Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember.
Yeah, I think that's the Live Six celebration. I'm pretty sure that he won it at SummerSlam, and that was the Live Six celebration.
Because they feuded like all year, and they kind of flip flopped a couple times. So, damn, did Edge was you sure he wasn't a champion already?
Maybe.
You know what?
Maybe
Because
Live 6 was...
here's the thing. He beat. Damn, did Edge really have a long title run like that? As far as I remember, Van Dam won it. And then
That's what it was.
Van Dam lost it in a triple threat. It was a triple threat on Raw. It was Cena, Edge, and Van Dam. Van Dam lost to Edge in the triple threat. I'm pretty sure.
So did Edge come in as champion?
I'm pretty sure Edge came in as champion at SummerSlam. I could be totally fucking wrong though, because knowing Edge, he probably lost the belt like the next week. You know what I mean? Because he like never held it very long. So one night stand would have been in like June or July. So the timeline would kind of make sense if Edge was already the champion. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because he cashed in like January.
Yeah.
He lost it like a week after, literally.
Right.
And then that's what it was. Cena defended against Triple H that year.
At
Mania?
No, this 06, right? Yeah, so it would have been Triple H and Cena. Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck that was because I have no memory of that feud, like anything about it.
Triple H buried him, then put him over. That was kind of it. He buried him in the promos, but he put him over in the match.
Yeah. So then, because RVD won the briefcase at Mania. So then...
I think the answer to this is what month was One Night Stand? Was that June or July?
That was probably July.
Okay, if it's July, then it was Edge definitely came in as the champion at SummerSlam.
I mean, regardless.
Either way, yeah.
Cena, like peak like Super Cena was like Nexus. So that's like '09. That's when like I think that he was like phoning it in like completely. He's like going in there, he's like playing it safe, and then in 2015 probably is when he starts having the matches with like Rollins. He gets the US title. He because I remember him doing what did he do? He did like a sit out power bomb or some shit like that.
Yeah, he was doing all types of shit, like Rey Mysterio type moves. Like,
yeah, he was doing like a Code Red and like he was doing all kinds of shit. But I vividly remember him like doing the moves, and it just always looked like he was like 1 and 2 and 3 and powerbomb.
right.
And I know he's got he's a football player, so I know that he's got like speed, and I know that he's like snappy. So I don't get why it took him so long to like, I guess, be good in the ring.
I guess I always felt like he was kind of succumbing to the pressures of all the worker indie guys, because that was around that time like they were hiring anybody on the indies.
Yeah.
So you got Seth Rollins and Ambrose and Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn and all these guys who are great workers. AJ coming into the mix.
Come on, man.
And like I think he was kind of like, oh, y'all think I can't wrestle? I'm gonna show you something. Granted, I thought he had, like with AJ, I think those are like a couple of his best matches, period. Like the SummerSlam match, the Royal Rumble match. He had a couple of really good matches with Rollins. He had a couple of really good matches with Kevin Owens. So I think that was him trying to show us, I guess we would technically be considered internet fans. I guess he was trying to show us like, oh yeah, I can wrestle. If I want to wrestle, I can wrestle.
Too.
I still hate you, John.
Yeah.
I still hate you, John.
But see, and maybe Becky just needs to like a kick in the ass to like once this like new batch of NXT girls comes up with Becky's gonna have to like adjust her style, because I'm trying to think, she like I don't think she could work like an Io Sky unless she like picks it up.
Nah, I don't think so either. But I think more than anything, I don't think you have to work like that if you can talk. I know there is a perception that Becky Lynch can talk, not to me. That I know I'm probably in the minority actually, and I understand that. But I don't think she can talk. I don't think she can tell stories. But I think if you can do that, no matter how good a wrestler somebody is, it doesn't matter. Like I don't think LA Knight can work for shit, but he can talk and he can tell a story. Man, and that's all that. And
I'm right there with you.
And that's all that matters. Like he can talk, he can tell the story. He sells tickets, he sells merchandise. He can get the crowd involved. That's the important part of wrestling. No matter how good you wrestle, if you just like look at Cesaro, Claudio Castagnoli. Like everybody thought this was his time when he went to AEW, and he doing the same shit in AEW that he was doing in WWE, which is a whole lot of nothing. Because all he can do is wrestle. He's not good at anything else. So he's not really over. You know what I mean? So it doesn't really matter how good of a wrestler you are. Like, if you can talk, those are the guys that are going to really be successful at the end of the day.
So, and I'm glad that you're saying this, because Liv Morgan is not particularly good in the ring.
No.
But I do think she's getting comfortable with, like, being, like, Liv Morgan.
She's very pretty. She's very pretty, and now she has a character, and now she's the world champion, and now they're building towards something that's going to be extremely special when Rhea Ripley comes back, because we got us a story, folks, an angle, a real angle that people care about, that has been brewing and building for months, and we're gonna get a payoff, and it's gonna be fucking great. It's gonna be two of the several. It's a lot of attractive women in WWE, but these are two of the more attractive ones. We got that aspect. We got that they both can cut promos. We got that they both can wrestle. Rhea's a light years ahead of Liv Morgan in the wrestling department, but still, Liv Morgan could get busy too. And we got the love triangle thing that they're gonna do. It's gonna be great. Like, I'm really excited to see what that turns into. An angle, people, angles.
Liv Morgan is clearly just being like a messy bitch.
Yeah.
That's like her thing now. She so now I'm not convinced that Dom is working with her. I know it seems that way,
Oh.
but it's just like it's just too much of a coincidence that like Braun was there to like push him over. I get the chair thing, but like and like you could even be like, oh well, he pushed him, but clearly Dom kind of pushed himself in a way,
Yeah.
and the timing was just perfect. I think Liv is working with the Judgment Day, but she's probably just working with somebody else that we're just not like. I mean, it's either JD or Finn, um, and does that make sense with like Rhea? Maybe, but like also, um, maybe she's just trying to like get in the judgment, like fuck with the Judgment Day as a whole because that's what Rhea has essentially.
I feel what you're saying, and I think if they were going that way, I think the dude to kind of leave would be Finn, because we don't really see it, especially if they plan on Damian Priest actually holding this belt for a little while. It is going to be Finn versus Damian Priest. Obviously, they're not going to put JD McDonough in a main event scene. I don't ever see that happening for him, but not yet, at least if it do happen. Not right now. I think Finn and Damian Priest are the natural, like, that's where we're going with this.
Yeah.
If that was the angle, though. If that is the angle that she's using Dom, but she really with somebody else.
Yeah, but also like the other theory, and I'm grabbing this from the internet, is the fact that Rhea always gave Dom all the affection, but she never like kissed him. So in Liv kissing him, it's like giving him like a new kind of like affection that he maybe needs, and that's like the breaking point for him. Rather than like, oh, I was working with her before, it's more like, well, now she's trying to fuck with us by doing this. That's kind of like where I was at, because even after they kissed, I mean, Dom could have just gone ahead and be like, yeah, haha, that was our plan all along. But he was still like upset, and like on the fan footage, you can see, actually, this was probably from WWE, but you can see Michael Cole like just shitting on him. He's like, you fucked up, whatever.
Yeah.
And Dom is just like upset. So, either he's upset because like maybe he did want to work with Liv, but he's not working with her anymore, but she's still like fucking with him, and she's like doing all this stuff, but
Right.
So there's more like I feel like there's more of like a mastermind rather than just like where Dom and Liv are working together right now.
I feel and shout out WWE not breaking up the Judgment Day too early, because it was a little moment there where Rhea just stopped feeling like she was a part of the group altogether, because her star was just, you feel me, rising. But they've brought the Judgment Day back into the mix, and I think they've been around so long, and they've done so much good work on Raw for the last, I don't know, year and a half, almost 2 years. I think they deserve a dramatic, big angle blow off breakup. But I do think the time is coming soon. I think it's time to wrap the Judgment Day up, but they deserve a big angle.
So this podcast, it's probably we've been following the Judgment Day for a long time, and I've said is that at some point it just became like the Judgment Day just has issues constantly.
Yeah.
Rather than like, oh, they're about to break up. It's like, no, they just are always fighting because that's just what they do. I think that makes more sense. I do think that they should invest more time on them, because there's more value in building Priest and Rhea and Dom and even JD rather than like going back to the Bloodline. Like, I like a lot of the Bloodline shit, but like Jay and Jimmy and Roman, they're all established stars. So, like, obviously right now they're doing Solo and old-ass Tamatonga and old-ass Camacho. But, the money isn't like, hey, like, Priest, obviously he's old, but, like, he's a new star.
Yeah.
And Dom is one of the youngest people on the roster, right? I mean, he's like my age, right? 26, I think.
Yeah, he around our
say.
age, yeah. But see, okay, in the old thing, real quick. I don't want to spend too much time on the old thing, but they call it Wrestler Prime. And if you notice, like, all wrestlers, when they hit their stride, they're like 36. Like, Batista was an older man when Batista is older than Triple H. Did you know that?
I did know that, but he got so lucky though.
Batista.
I mean, he's good.
Batista, DDP, Goldberg, Stone Cold Steve Austin, you know, Hulk Hogan, like, all these guys were wrestling for forever before they actually hit and they became like the big deal. Like Cody Rhodes, for example. Cody Rhodes, like, is almost 40. You know what I mean? Like, so the old thing in wrestling doesn't really necessarily bother me too much, because usually they don't really figure it out until they like mid to late 30s.
Probably 35 is like when like they're like established, like, okay, like this is me. I'm like,
right.
Yeah. I figured it out essentially. Because I mean, Finn is past 40. He's been in WWE for a long ass time. Just feels like forever.
Yeah, it's probably since like 2014, 15.
Yeah, I want to say more like, NXT. He probably started NXT like 14. Main roster, I want to say like 17. He's had a lot of life in the WWE.
Yeah, 17. 17 sound about right.
And they were gonna strap the Rocket to him, but he got hurt.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember people being very upset about that, and I kind of knew, because he was not established, that they were gonna give up on him, that they were gonna get scared and give up on him, and I feel like this is the most significant angle he's been in since he got hurt all those years
100%.
ago.
Yes.
Like, he's done some cool shit here and there, but this is by far the Judgment Day by far like revived his star power.
Yeah, and it's gonna sound like a big joke, like I'm getting paid by WWE, but Judgment Day does run Raw in a way, especially when Rhea was champion. Like, they were like everything revolved around
whoever get
what's
the
going
most
on with the Judgment Day.
Whoever get the most TV time is running Raw, and they get the most TV time. It's that simple.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I'm interested to see. I still think that, I mean, the LWO is on Raw. Dom has time to build to that match with Ray, obviously. But I think the timeline for SummerSlam that I was thinking is probably going to have to wait, because he's obviously involved in other stuff.
I feel you.
We might get a WrestleMania main event out of Liv Morgan and Rhea.
If the story is there, I don't see why not. Honestly,
yeah.
If that's something people want to see, if the story is there, I don't see why not.
And we're gonna sound like fucking crazy, because people are really hot or cold on Liv. Either it's like a stan, like somebody that's just like, I love Liv Morgan, or it's someone that's like, Liv Morgan is like the most adequate wrestler.
I don't know, but I have no idea how long Rhea Ripley's supposed to be out though. Like, I don't even know what's wrong with her. Like, what happened?
Separated shoulder, I think.
Oh, okay. So this is not gonna happen at WrestleMania. That means she'll probably be back in like a couple months.
Yeah. I'm just
key.
thinking, like, if they play their cards right.
Yeah.
But who the hell knows? Also, like, I saw they had footage of Rhea. When did I see it? I just remember seeing them like measuring the separation on her shoulder.
Yeah.
And you could see like a dip, and I was like, oh, that doesn't look good.
I didn't know it was that, like, okay, separated shoulder, she'll probably be fine though. She'll be fine.
Yeah. I think it's more of a matter. They have to like put it back in place and then like make sure that like everything is
let it heal, let her rehab, all that. Yeah, she might. I don't know. Is if SummerSlam is in August again, she'll probably be back in time for SummerSlam.
I hope so. I got my SummerSlam tickets.
Okay, so cool.
Hopefully. Cleveland, man. I'm not excited for that.
Cleveland.
No, I fucking hate Cleveland.
Should be fun.
But speaking of the Judgment Day, we had Gunther. He's King of the Ring. Congratulations. You don't fuck with Gunther, do you?
No, it's the repetitiveness for me. His matches are like they're not bad, but he's one of those guys. He is like a Rage Against the Machine song. If you heard one Rage Against the Machine song, you have heard every Rage Against the Machine song.
Damn.
He's going to chop. He's going to do his big boot. He's going to do a power bomb. He's going to do a half crab. No matter who he goes against, there is no mix. It's I've seen it. I've seen it. I don't really feel the need like, oh man, he going against Cody Rhodes. Let me get up for this one. He going against Kevin Owens. Let me get up for this one, because he's going to chop. He's going to do a big boot. He's going to do a power bomb. He's going to do a half crab. And that's kind of it. I'm not into it. I feel like he's not bad, but God, it's the same match every night, no matter who he goes against. He is doing the exact same thing. It is the exact same formula. I'd be a hypocrite to not point that out when I said the same thing about Cena for a very long time. Like, I don't, I get it. I'm supposed to like Gunther because the internet likes Gunther. I don't. I never have, even when he was Walter in NXT. Certain guys, man, he's boring. Like, it just is what it is. Not only that, I will give him this. He's trying to talk. He's trying to get better. I can tell he invests time in his promos, but he still can't tell a story. And those are two different things. And
that's, this is like the most level-headed opinion about Gunther I've heard.
Yeah, I think people think I'm a hater. I'm not a hater. This is how I feel, and I hope anybody listening can understand. Like, understand that I'm making a point here. Like, I'm not just like, fuck that.
No,
I saved my hate
like
for Cena. Like, I hated Cena. I don't hate Gunther. I don't care to watch Gunther though, which might be worse.
Yeah. Well, so I love Gunther. I think he's one of the best in the world, honestly. But I get that, but also I think that he has a lot of very interesting opponents, and he is able to like be a good fold to a lot of people. And I just feel like he's got a lot of really good matches, so it's hard like that I've really enjoyed, but also like I know not everyone is a fan of like the stuff that I like, but I like all kinds of wrestling, so I like that Gunther feels like he's just kind of like he's big and he's long, and it looks like he hits hard. So it's like one of those things where like you see like like when you see him with like a smaller guy, he's got good size, he's imposing. But then when you see him with like somebody like Drew McIntyre, you're like, well, Drew's clearly bigger than him, but like seems like Gunther's still like tougher than him. And I just think that's an interesting dynamic, and if you present it like, on paper, it's like.
But here's my point to that. When he wrestles Chad Gable, he is going to chop him. He is going to do a big boot. He is going to do a power bomb. He is going to do a half crab. When he's wrestling a bigger Drew McIntyre, he's going to do chops. He's going to do a big boot. He's going to do a power bomb, and he's going to do a half crab. So
okay, I see what you're saying.
That is my thing with him. It's like, and I know somebody's gonna be like, well, that's his fucking moveset, and I understand that, but I'm saying there is no difference in dynamic. To me, like what you're saying, you see, maybe I'm missing something. I don't see that. Like, no matter who he's wrestling, he's doing the same thing. Like, for example, The Undertaker wrestled The Big Show way differently than he wrestled Rey Mysterio. These are two complete
and that's a very and okay, and I'm with you because Rey Mysterio does this shit. Obviously, not everyone can wrestle lucha, I mean, like,
right?
Rey is not gonna do a lucha match versus fucking, the Great Khali.
Sure. Yeah.
But that's interesting you say that because you have some, and I like Bryan Danielson. Like, Bryan Danielson is like one of my goats. I think that what you're saying is true about Gunther. I still like his matches. I'm not gonna sit here and be like, "Oh, you're right. He fucking sucks." I think you're crazy, for saying that. But I'll say this. I'll
Go ahead.
justify it by
Go ahead.
saying this. Danielson, yes, he versus Will Ospreay. Danielson had to work a Will Ospreay match,
Sure.
and versus who did he wrestle? He wrestled when he wrestled MJF, like that hour-long Iron Man match. It was very surprising because that was very much a Bryan Danielson match. It wasn't an MJF match. It was like MJF had to come up to his level, where every other Danielson match he has to adjust to whoever he's wrestling, and that could be a critique of Gunther, that he's he's not doing anything to adjust for a Rey Mysterio or for a Chad Gable that will wrestle a more mad grounded style. Like Gunther's just gonna do his moves essentially. He's always gonna work big man versus whoever it is for the most part. Where he couldn't work big man versus Drew because Drew is fucking bigger than him.
Nah, see, again, can Gunther do hardcore? Can Gunther brawl? Gunther does his European style wrestling. Yeah, I mean, but that's the thing. He does absolutely nothing different to change the dynamic of his matches, no matter who he's going against. I've seen him have really fun matches. I liked his matches against Chad Gable. I liked his matches against Pete Dunne during when he beat Pete Dunne for the UK belt, whatever that belt was called. That was years ago. I've seen him have very good matches, but if you watch those matches side by side, he doing the same. Same thing.
No, I'm with you. I mean, I'm with you. I mean, I don't agree with it,
no,
but I respect the opinion.
And I get it. Again, this is like the Becky Lynch thing. I'm in the minority, and I understand that. This is just how I feel. I don't if you've seen one, you've seen them all. That's kind of my opinion on Gunther.
Well, and I wanted to say with all of that in my little outline that I have is that so Priest goes up to Gunther and he's talking his shit. Priest, I think, to me, I feel him very comfortable as the champion. He has to learn on the job, and I think he's doing a good job. So this is one of the things that Triple H does. He'll throw something out, and then he'll see how people react to it. What do people want to see? And I do think that he will pivot if necessary. The direction that I'm seeing, the writing is on the wall for Drew to go against Gunther at SummerSlam, I think. Or for Drew to just be champion, period. I don't think Drew should beat Priest at all.
I was thinking they might hold Drew off until that show in his home country. I could be wrong.
Well,
or maybe he might come in as the champion in his home country, which in my opinion is cooler.
Well, that is the next show. That's before SummerSlam.
Is it? Oh, okay.
Clash at the Castle. So that's the one coming up. That's why I'm saying that, it seems that he's going to beat Priest at Clash at the Castle. But it's almost like the show. If the show was later in the year, I'll be more okay with that. I don't think Drew should be a champion right now, honestly. Unless, Punk is involved.
I think Drew is in one of those rare situations where he is so over that he don't really need the belt. I think Damian Priest, because he kind of won it abruptly like that, he need a little more time with the belt. I like Damian Priest a lot, by the way. I think he's fucking great. An underrated talent, if anything. He can cut promo. His promo game is underrated. He can tell a story, and he can wrestle different styles. As you see, we seen him wrestle Drew McIntyre, and it was very different from the match that he wrestled with, a Bad Bunny, for example. Somebody who can't wrestle at all, he still went out there and killed it. Him and Bad Bunny had a show-stealing match. That's
definitely
extremely
that's
commendable.
Big props on him for that.
Yeah, it's extremely commendable. I like Damian Priest a lot. Unfortunately, I think he is going to be one of those guys where this is kind of it for him. I think this is peak Damian Priest. I don't think he's ever going to get the belt again. I think it's going to be one of those situations kind of you remember when Damian Priest was a champion? That shit was pretty cool. Yeah. You know what I mean? I think that's kind of what Damian Priest is right now. I think this is it. I think in the grand scheme of things, they're going to go on and do the breakup with the Judgment Day with him. But I say enjoy this now. If anybody who like really like Damian Priest and think Damian Priest is gonna be a big deal, he may have marquee matches in the future, but as far as like a world champion, I think this is it. I don't see him winning the belt like ever again. I think he's gonna be one of those guys just to beef up his resume. Like, hey, this is a former world champion. You know.
Yeah. Well, see, this is where I was at with that. If Drew beats Priest, then he's going into SummerSlam as champion.
Yeah.
I think Money in the Bank is in between, but I mean, I guess he could still lose it again. Listen, and I'm good with like the month-long reigns. I think we haven't had like any of that recently.
Yeah, I'm not mad at that, man. Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
Just trade it back and forth for a little bit. I think that if Drew, Priest, and Gunther were like trading it, I would be okay with that. Like even have Drew beat Priest, cool. Then have the three-way at Money in the Bank. Then Gunther beats him. Then you head into like Money in the Bank as like, or you do Drew and Gunther at Money in the Bank, and then Drew loses it there. Then you do the three-way at SummerSlam.
Do you think people will be upset when Drew loses the belt to Punk? Do you think Drew will be looked at as like a transitional?
No, well,
I think a section of the internet will be upset, even though like
absolutely no. I mean, this is CM Punk we're talking.
Yeah,
about.
CM Punk is very polarizing, but I think the internet love for CM Punk, I would say, is 70-30 in favor of Punk. But
really,
people fuck with Drew right now, and
that's
I think
true.
I remember people being pretty upset when Drew lost to Roman in Scotland or wherever that show was. And
that was bullshit.
And this is like peak.
It's
like peak Roman.
No.
So
that was bullshit.
I think they're gonna correct what they did to Drew with Roman. I don't see whatever Drew is doing. Is that official? Is he wrestling Priest for the belt at that show?
Yeah.
So Drew is probably gonna win.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. So we got Money in the Bank in between SummerSlam. So it goes Clash, Money in the Bank, SummerSlam. I think there's time for if they want to take the belt off of Drew at Money in the Bank. I think that's the direction that I would go. I'd rather see Priest and Gunther at SummerSlam. Drew and Gunther did not have a good match last year at SummerSlam. So I'm not really with that. If you're going to have Drew win, he might as well keep it until SummerSlam and then do the Punk match there.
Do you think they care enough about the King of the Ring to put the belt on Gunther, though? Because who knows? Like, well, they might not do King of the Ring for another 4 years. You know what I mean? Like, they kind of do it sporadically.
Yeah. And you know what? I forgot that Gunther is facing the champion at SummerSlam no matter what.
Right, so he going to SummerSlam regardless.
Yeah, that's true.
So is it gonna be? Is like the question is it Drew? Is it Priest? I think it's pretty obvious that it's gonna be Drew. So
yeah, but it should be Priest because you're right. Drew doesn't need the title. He just needs to have a good run.
In my opinion, but I don't think they're gonna send him out there in his home country to lose again.
And lose again?
To lose again is like, but I don't know. Like I'm with it. Like I don't mind Priest holding it for a little longer. I don't think Drew needs that belt right now. But then again, I think if Priest goes to SummerSlam and wrestles Gunther, he's 100% going to lose to Gunther, which I don't want to see. I don't want to see a Gunther title run, a world title run from Gunther, personally.
I think that if it was a different time and we didn't have the internet, it wouldn't matter if Drew lost in his home country again, because why the fuck would you not want to have like a bunch of like people on your roster that all should be champion, like no matter what?
Right. But
like I don't think that's a bad thing to be like Drew should be champion.
Unfortunately, they do kind of take into account what the internet may feel, though.
Yeah, but like I'm just, and like the more I think about it, it's like, yeah, why wouldn't I want people to think Drew should be champion. I also want people to think Gunther should be champion, or Punk should be champion, or Rollins when he comes back should be champion. Whatever.
All roads lead to Punk, either way.
Yeah.
Whether Punk beats Priest, Drew, or Gunther, I think it's kind of like low key inevitable. Like by the end of this story, CM Punk's gonna be a world champion
for sure. And I'll say this. I've been thinking about this, but CM Punk is like the last true draw in wrestling, bar none. Um,
Oh no.
I mean, come
We
on.
can't do Roman and Cody like that.
No, that's true. But I'm thinking like a needle mover. I think people fucking love Roman and they fucking love Cody. But like, I
Roman
think Punk is like,
Reigns is a needle mover. We can't do that. We can't leave Roman out
no,
that conversation.
I'm just, dude, like Punk is deal. They forced the DLC onto 2K. 1 million players, like by week one,
I'm
have
not.
played with
Hey,
CM Punk.
yeah, yo, look who you talking to. I'm a CM Punk fanatic. I get all that, and what you're saying is not wrong whatsoever. But we cannot leave Roman out of the drawing needle moving conversation. Roman Reigns single handedly popularized wrestling again.
Yeah, no,
We
I'm.
like that. We can't ignore that. You know what I mean? Like he literally wrestling is popping right now because of Roman Reigns, and it
But
has been
see,
over
but
the last 3 years because of Roman Reigns.
let's see, Roman and Cody are very much still WWE. I don't know. I truly
Sure.
do think that like if Punk went to TNA, people would watch TNA, and I think that's the litmus test.
You don't think if
Well,
Roman went to AEW, TNA, New Japan, GCW, whatever company, people wouldn't move in droves to go see that? Absolutely. But it's not gonna
that's
happen.
true.
But
Yeah, it's just not even realistic.
yeah,
I think that's the problem. That it's not even realistic.
you know.
Like Roman's never going anywhere else.
No, Roman single handedly popularized wrestling again. Like we can't leave him out of a drawing conversation. Like
Yeah.
yeah,
No, I
and
mean,
he
you're
did it,
right.
and he did it. He was the face of the company as a heel, which we've never seen before. He's the first person to
Yeah.
ever lead WWE in specific as a heel.
I guess that is right.
Nobody has ever done that, and he was moving needles, moving merch, selling tickets, selling out stadium after stadium. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
What a shame, man. Why did it take so long?
well, wrestler prime, man. Like
Yeah, I guess.
he hit that age. He hit that mid
You know what?
30s. You know,
Let me do my little history lesson, but let's say that like Vince is like stuck in his ways, so like who gives a shit about fucking Vince McMahon?
sure.
Um, but imagine if so the Rumble that Daniel Bryan didn't win, Batista won. But I
2014,
14.
something like that.
I vividly remember it was Roman and Batista the last two.
And
I think that if you call an audible at that point and have Roman win, I think things are much different.
yeah, but I think that's just wrestling fans being naturally contrarian. I've always
Yeah.
felt that way about Roman Reigns, where I felt as the Cena hatred was very much so justified because Cena was actually bad. Roman Reigns was very good. Sure, they fed him some Cordy lawns. Sure, he had but he had a couple of bad matches, but that was even rare. You know what I mean? Even back then, go back and watch yourself. The thing with wrestling and wrestling fans is that they have to not like somebody, right? Somebody has to be the corporate. We didn't ask for this guy. This is your guy. Yeah, I mean, Roman was that for a minute. Then Roman got sick, and they decided that Seth was gonna be that guy for a minute. Look at AEW. Cody Rhodes was that guy for a minute, and now it's Jericho. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Wrestling fans need somebody to genuinely dislike. So like that's to me that's just kind of how it works. I don't think it was because Roman just wasn't over or Roman wasn't good. That certainly wasn't the case. But I just think it was just contrarian behavior from wrestling fans,
Yeah.
which we get every once in a while. It happens.
Yeah, he was dealt also like a shitty card, honestly,
Sure. Yeah.
just by being like, here's this. It's just like you could have made him like a fun, like just like a badass baby face instead of being like, here's another John Cena. It's like
Plus, and people say that a lot. The John Cena thing. John Cena didn't lose as near as much as Roman Reigns did on his way up to the top. John
Oh yeah,
John Cena
yeah. That's
John Cena didn't do as nearly as many jobs. I mean, we saw Roman Reigns lose to just about everybody. He lost to Brock like 300 times. He lost to Finn Balor on a Raw. He lost to Samoa Joe on a Raw. He was losing to Rusev. He lost to he was getting his ass whooped by Baron Corbin. Like, we talking bums. We talking bums, man. Like John Cena, you wouldn't catch John Cena losing to fucking whatever '07 Midcard dude. Like, you wasn't seeing John Cena losing to like John Morris, Johnny Nitro and shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's ridiculous.
yeah.
You know?
The timing is also like it's so funny. I don't know. I think WWE was like still like in rebuild mode around that time.
Certainly.
Like, you still didn't have like because they lost a ton of like big names really quickly. I feel. I mean, obviously like Triple H, Shawn. They just kind of. Well, Shawn retired at a decent spot. Triple H overstayed his welcome like a tiny bit. He was still fighting for the title in like 2016 or 2015, I think. So
that was his little comeback. Yeah, but I think Triple H officially was kind of wrapped up around like 2011, 2010.
Yeah, he was already doing like the corporate shit. He had a WrestleMania main event at 32, so I'm like, come on, man. Like like what are we doing here?
Shouldn't have happened. That was a horrible match.
No. That was I literally fell asleep. I don't remember that match.
It was like 1 in the morning. Like, that's when they was doing 7-hour WrestleManias and shit. It's very, very bad.
So I think at some point the last like big-ish star was Cena that was like left around. Everybody else was like newer guys that they were like trying to like put on, and all the mid-card dudes from like their era were gone, like because they didn't do anything with like the mid-card. Like, the Ruthless Aggression mid-carders had like the worst deal because they just never did anything with them.
And they were all very good. They were all very
yeah,
good.
there's some. I mean, you have like your MVPs and your Carlitos, and I mean, I think John Morrison was fine.
Yeah.
I think the only person that like made it out was probably Miz.
The most unlikely one at that.
Yeah, I mean, impossible, literally.
Yeah, John Morrison, Miz, MVP, Shelton Benjamin, Chris Masters, Mr. Kennedy.
Exactly.
Like, they had some real hoopers in the mix like that.
They had some solid mid carders, and they just never trusted them to like to go like over Shawn or Triple H or like Cena or like Edge. It was like, no, like the Attitude Era guys and John Cena only. Like, they're the only ones that are allowed up here.
Yeah, basically.
I mean, Taker was like fucking everyone up. Like,
yeah,
no mid carder had any chance against Taker.
Yeah.
So for a while, it's like, okay, so everyone from the Attitude Era that's like already like way too old is like, you know, getting ready to wrap it up, or like it's already like on a part-time thing. We got Brock back, but like that's it. Like, we don't have any stars. And then after like the NXT era, that's when like they really like kind of were like, okay, like we need to start doing something. Because
yeah, they need to start pushing newer guys. Yeah, that was a rough that was a rough patch of years, like 2014, 15, a little bit of 16.
And that's Roman's come up. So he's up there. He's losing to bums because who gives a shit about these guys?
Yeah, no, facts.
So yeah, I mean, yeah, and I don't know. I mean, we just kind of went on a tangent there, but the whole thing about this had to do with, I guess Punk being that needle mover. And yeah, I mean, eventually we're just gonna get back to. I think it's inevitable that he's gonna be champion. And to me, he's just better as a champion. I enjoy him more when like he is like at the top of the mountain, I think.
I agree with that, yeah.
I just like his last AEW run is just so fucking funny because he's booking Collision, and then he's also like trying to like still like push for that like Young Bucks shit. So he's just like shit talking them like every week, but then like he's also like just going out there and like just having like this random like weird like Saturday night shows on Collision. I don't know.
Right.
It was a weird time.
Oh, AEW.
But champion CM Punk, man, it's just a whole nother thing.
Yeah, I'm with it. I think like I felt like that about Triple H back in the day. I was like, Triple H just look and feel so off and awkward if he ain't the champion.
Yeah, he's just like a final boss, right?
Huh?
Yeah, and then like
Yeah.
he's just like he's I mean not to fuck again to name drops, but like he's like Triple H is very much like a final boss. So
Right.
like for him to be the champion, it's like it just feels right. So when somebody beats him, it's like, oh shit, like
It's always a big
Triple
deal.
H, you know?
It was always a big deal.
Yeah. So let's see. Where we at? And we're probably good.
I'm about to say I'm on like 10, I'm on like 10%. I could probably burn out another 20 minutes.
Okay. Well, and so let's. I really only have a couple other things, so we'll just kind of talk about this and we'll wrap it up. But we talked about Gable a little bit.
I like him. I think he's. I kind of wish they would make him a little. Like right now, he's just kind of like mean, and I guess that's his heel turn. Is he just mean? I think he should beat up the guys a little more that he working with, his Alpha Academy buddies.
I have a hot. I have a hot take. I thought he was gonna like just like suplex Maxine. I thought that was what we were doing.
Nah, I mean, okay, so he's heel, right? He was already kind of like a trainer, Alpha Academy. Like, I want to get you guys to the next level, and that's beautiful. But he is just like a mean trainer now. When he should be beating these guys up a little bit. Like, is he heel? Or is he just like a tough trainer? Like, if anything,
he needs to be like insane, right?
Yeah, I think I think they need to make Chad Gable a fucking maniac if they want this heel turn to go over. Because we already like Chad Gable. I think everybody likes Chad Gable for the most part.
Yeah.
But if we're gonna make a heel turn work, you gotta make him violent. He's super violent.
No, I'm liking the segments. I thought that like I think hitting Otis with the belt would have been cool, a cool visual.
Yeah.
And then you can even just like still keep Otis like on the fence about the whole thing. But yeah, I mean honestly he should put like the Sawa on like a fucking ankle lock for like a solid like minute.
Yeah, if you lose a match, you gotta eat an ankle lock and shit. You know what I mean? Yeah. With Maxine, with the girl, you could just yell at the girl. You don't have to hit her. Because I know they can't really do that anyways. But you can at least.
I'm saying that she should take a German suplex, man.
I mean, it's television, so I'm not mad at you. It's not real. So like, I'm with you. But they'll never do that. But they can yell at her. They can keep yelling at her. But he should be beating them up if they lose matches or cost him a match or stuff like that. Like we gotta really
eat the lashes, man.
We gotta. I forgot about that. That was crazy. Yeah. Moral of the story, I think they should heal up Gable.
Yeah. No, I get it. I think and I was shocked he didn't win. But I also thought maybe it's
I think they saved him for SummerSlam too.
Yeah. I think when he wins, it has to be like upsetting. Like nobody wants to see him win.
In order for that to happen, they got to heal him up.
Yeah, it definitely has to be like upsetting. So you either like make Sammy like the best guy ever, or you just make like Gable just like crazy. Yeah, I mean he has to like start abusing them a little bit more on the physical side.
Yeah, that's all you got to do.
Yeah,
I think that's literally it. That's the only thing they're missing is that they have to make him a little more violent.
I think eventually too. If he's like violent enough with them, they'll turn on him, and that's when you can like throw in the Creeds because the Creeds are doing fuck all, and I just wouldn't waste any time with them. They're too good, and they need to like since you already threw them in the main roster and they never got to like do like a proper program on NXT where they're like doing promos and like doing all this shit. I think that you need to throw them in like a program where they have like where they're like forced to like, be good essentially. They're good in the ring, but Kurt Angle was good because he was great in the ring and he was a fantastic promo. Not because he was good. Like, being good in the ring, yeah, can only get you so far, like you said at the top of the show. So
I agree, 100%.
Yeah. I think especially Julius Creed is like something special. I think Brutus is like slept on, but man, those boys are oof.
They can wrestle. They can wrestle, but it just take more. It take more.
Yeah. And they gotta get the psychology a little bit to be better. Maybe like a New Day program would maybe help them. Work on their psychology. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not a bad
or
idea.
something. Huh? Yeah. Man, it's no, New Day as utility players are just like what a dream, you know.
Yeah. No, I love them.
I love New Day. Yeah,
they've been going fuck, man. They've been in that faction for like 10 years, and it's still like I'm still entertained.
Yeah.
Well, it's a tag team now. It's not a faction because Big E gone, but yeah.
Yeah.
To keep something entertaining for that long is very much so commendable.
Oh yeah, and now they're stuck in the Jericho vortex with Chris Karrion Kross. I almost said Chris Cross.
Oh, Karrion Kross, man. You know what?
Yeah.
This might be a hot, and I don't wish anybody to lose their job, man, but expect him to be gone the next mass releasing. He's going to get fired.
I don't know, man. Triple H, like, loves him. He, like, loves him.
Expect Karrion Kross and his girlfriend to be fired the next mass releasing. Scarlet? They just don't do shit. He's trying. They get TV time. They're not very good. I think, and
that's why I'm so shocked.
This is their second chance. One run under Vince, which was awful, god awful, and I understand. Like, I can't even blame him for that. Like, that was not his fault. But now under Triple H, and you still can't get over, he's gonna get fired. He's not. I think, because he was in TNA, he was in whatever other companies, like, and we saw what he could do, and we was like, oh, this will work in WWE. And now, come on, man. Second chance, one under Vince, one under Triple H. Maybe it's you. That's just how I feel about Karrion Kross, man. Like, I was on board with him too. Maybe it's him. Maybe he's just not very good. I mean,
it feels like this is like his fourth chance. At this point,
maybe. He's not like at some point in time. Like, no matter how much you like a guy, he's just like this dude is just not. It's not happening.
I was big on him. I actually like his TNA stuff.
Everybody did.
I was pretty sold on him. When he came over to the good side, when he did like the NXT stuff is fine. I think he gets a Raw deal because of the Adam Cole promo.
I forgot about that until you brought it up. I just don't like, because that's the thing. I feel like if you can't make it in WWE, you're not that good for real. Like, that's just my personal opinion. There's gonna be many people that disagree with that, but I feel like if you can't get over in WWE, then like kind of like, not that you're not good, I should say, but how good are you really? Because this is to me, WWE is what it is, the mecca of professional wrestling.
Yeah. It's like, and like the limitations of it is what makes it like so interesting. Because I think like if MJF wants to become like the guy, he needs to do a WWE run, and then we'll know how good he is. Because if he
100%,
if he can go there, if he can get over in WWE, then he is that guy. I mean, AEW is what it is, but even I fucking love his return promo, which, by the way, he's back, for those that don't know. I like the return promo. I think it was corny to go back to like these fans suck, and I don't need Vince McMahon. Like, I think that's just so fucking corny.
While you dressed as Triple H.
Yeah, like, who gives it? Like, who? It's just like, what? By saying that, you're very much like still trying to impress them.
I'll give you this because I got like 5% left. I'll give you this real quick. MJF, I was on board in the beginning. I was on board when he got the belt, and I was like, okay, this is his real test. Because to me, when you're the world champion, you are the flag bearer of the company. You're the man. You're the guy going out doing the interviews and all that. And I felt like he didn't fail, but he was very underwhelming as a world champion. He held it for way too long. The best thing he did was the stuff with Adam Cole and the tag team. His promos for some reason got cringier and weirder from the car crash. I was getting hit in the car and the car flipped and just cringy shit. I don't know. It's like he got worse. And this return promo was kind of back to what he was doing when he was the world champion. And, you know, I'm going to name drop people that don't work here because I'm going to get a pop. I mean, you dressing like Triple H, but you're saying, I don't need Vince McMahon. Basically, you don't need WWE, but you dress like the fucking, basically the owner of WWE. He's very fucking corny. That's just kind of like my thoughts on him. He's very cringe. I saw the return promo. I cut it off around the time he said somebody could eat a donkey dick and all. Like, you know what I mean? Some things are just too corny for me.
Yeah. No, I get it. Like it's like low bar shit.
Oh my god, this shit is lame. Like this dude is fucking lame. That's just kind of how I feel about MJF. Is he gonna move the needle? I'm actually very curious because I know people on the internet like MJF, and I want to see the strength of the internet show up. As of this record, it's Wednesday, so AEW is on now. But I'm really curious to see what the numbers are gonna look like with MJF back, to see if he actually moves the needle even a little bit, and he might. We'll see. And real quick,
I mean, it is must.
Oh, real quick, because my phone gonna die. Thanks for inviting me. But I miss Roman Reigns a lot, and this is the thing with Cody Rhodes, and I'm a huge supporter of Cody Rhodes. I was in AEW, I am now, but I hate, because I knew this was going to happen when he beat Roman Reigns, is that he was not going to have much to do. He beat AJ in a good match, but where was the story? He beat Logan Paul in a very good match, but where was the story? This Cody Rhodes title run is like, we're kind of sitting around waiting for The Rock to come back. That's not good for Cody Rhodes, considering they told a tremendous story at WrestleMania and two fucking great matches, back-to-back nights, and now it's just kind of like, all right, well, Cody Rhodes champion, and that's cool, and the story's over, which was a mistake because Roman Reigns should have won, but now it's like, okay, we're just going to sit around and wait for The Rock to come back and see what happens. And to me, it's super unfortunate for Cody Rhodes, and I think this is a great opportunity for whoever get Cody Rhodes next, because Cody Rhodes is probably going to hold the belt for a while. It's a great opportunity for somebody to come up and really build their legacy and do something really special with Cody Rhodes, because he needs it right now. Cody Rhodes got he's a 3-tool player. He can have the great match. He can cut a great promo. He can tell a great story. If one of these guys steps up and creates something special with Cody Rhodes, it'll make his title run way more entertaining. It'll get somebody else over and elevated. That's what Cody Rhodes needs. I'm really surprised that they didn't go straight into like, okay, let's do something serious with Cody Rhodes with one of these other guys. You got to stack roster. Let's not pretend like we don't have people he can play with. Let's not pretend like LA Knight and Drew ain't there, and you got a lot of people to work with. The Usos, the Solo, you got people. Use them. That's just how I feel. But I'm gonna wrap it up. You continue, but I'm gonna wrap it up because my phone gonna die on you, unfortunately.
Go ahead and tell me where people can find you online.
Oh, at TheBigMeer, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. Also, I do a podcast occasionally. It's called The Big Mirror Podcast. It's on Spotify and other apps. Google it or just, find me. I'll send you the link, all that. Oh, thanks for the invite, man. This is really cool. I always wanted to come on here. So,
let's do it again.
Yeah, for sure. Call me.
Okay. All right. I'll let you go, man, and I'll wrap it up.
Peace.
So that was at TheBigMeer on Twitter. If you didn't get that, I'll throw it up on the video too. We'll pretty much just wrap up this show. I don't have anything else to say. Hopefully Brandon will be back, or whoever my new co-host is can do this solo show. So I'm glad that we got to bring Amir, and then maybe hopefully next time he comes on, we have a little more. We got a little more of a background and everything on him. I've known him for a long time. Um, Honestly, and this is not to hate on Brennan, my co-host, but I've known Amir longer than I've known Brennan, which is kind of insane. But yeah, I mean the internet is a wild place, and um, I'm thankful that I've been able to meet some folks on there, and that I've been able to keep in contact with them. So yeah, thank you for listening. I don't know how long this episode is going to be honest, because of my setup. I don't know how long this is. I'm looking at the screen, but I need to look at right there. At Midwest Midcard on everything. We're talking TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, everything. So just go find those there. Um, Make sure you leave a 5-star review on Spotify. Make sure you leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcast. Subscribe on the YouTube. Share with your friends. Do whatever you want. Show me some love, please, 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 please. And without anything else to add, I'll go ahead and leave you guys. Make sure you live, laugh, love, and wrestle. And I'll see you guys next week.